As you can see here, I'm just playing this at the beginning. I upset Facebook last night by posting a video later on, and as you can see, post against our community standards, so only you can see it, blah 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 blah, the usual crap that you get from FaceAche. And if you want to see the video, because it's been removed from YouTube, and obviously Facebook banned it, as you can see, and well, there'll be a link in description if you want to see the video. What you should take, the fact that YouTube's taken it down, Facebook's taken it down, is that it must be correct. The information, it must be correct, otherwise why else would they act like they have done? Exactly my thoughts. We're going to lose many more loved ones. Why? Are we going out for dinner? Let's face it, we've all been brainwashed. Some people are just not aware of it yet. Tom Hanks and Rita Wilson test positive for coronavirus. 8 billion humans on the planet. Number of infected about 0.0015%. And we're to believe all these rich, famous elites and world leaders have it? Yeah, okay, whatever. But of course the Tom Hanks bit also ties into the video that we put out yesterday. It basically named him as a paedophile, and that there's an arrest warrant out for him. These sealed indictments in America are starting to be unsealed. Like I said, they were supposed to be unsealed towards the end of March, and there's an arrest warrant out for him because he's a child rapist. And if you want to see the video, it's just 2 pages of stuff where it's been read to you what it says in there, and well, the fact that the reaction it got tells you it must be correct. The coronavirus is a cover-up for the largest US military intelligence operation the world has ever known. The plan is to totally shut down the entire globe, make massive arrests, remove evil in governments, banks, globalist elites, Hollywood and sports stars that are involved at Epstein Island and other islands. Also, many other massive scandals. Remove the fiat currency and go to gold-backed currency. Global currency reset, then activate Nesara and Gesara law, which wipes all debts, releases us into Tesla's future. It gives us 6,000 medical cures, free energy and many other beautiful things, the way it should have been. There will be up to a 6-week closure of everything. Military will lead the way. And there's a picture again of just a picture this time instead of the video of Facebook giving me a good telling off. Leaked surveillance camera show trapped children at Jeffrey Epstein's island. Disturbing footage stills from a survey camera have allegedly captured children trapped in underground rooms in billionaire Jeffrey Epstein's private island, Little St. James in the Caribbean. Jeffrey Epstein, a notorious sex trafficker who a private island in which the like of Bill Clinton visited many times, according to flight logs of Epstein's private plane. Flight records reveal Bill Clinton flew to Epstein's island 26 times. Epstein's Boeing 727, otherwise known as the Lolita Express, took elite passengers to and from the island. Epstein, who has been a notorious name in the seedy world of sex trafficking, was originally tasked with managing the assets of elite clients worth over $1 billion in net worth. Now, Epstein isn't dead, as we all know. He has given a lot of the information that's going towards the arrest of these wankers like Tom Hanks. But there's many more to come. Coronavirus live exercise January 2020. So we're watching this very carefully in anticipation of the fact that for the first time in Australia, laws will need to be used on a scale that will present a different experience for Australia. Attorney General Christian Porter. Below are a number of indicators that the alleged coronavirus pandemic is essentially a globally orchestrated live exercise in managing a pandemic, preceded in October by last year's Event 201, a pandemic tabletop exercise. Now, we can infer that the alleged purpose of this exercise is really a flimsy pretext for fear-mongering instigated by the global power elite in order to exercise better control. There are about 8,500 of them and 7 billion of us. The scope of social control laid bare by this pandemic is truly scary. What social controls will be implemented and how this event will be used as a pretext for blaming looming economic problems, only time will tell. What you've got to take as well from this is whatever bullshit rules and regulations they're going to bring in, they're going to keep. They're going to say it's just for this fake pandemic, but then they'll stay. This is a push for New World Order. Most importantly, however, the power elite always gives us the chance to opt out of the response they wish to instill in us. Whenever they hoax us, they always provide deliberate signs, for example, obvious signs of fakery, over-the-top ridiculousness, contradictions, different versions of the story, physical impossibilities, poor expression, grammar and spelling beyond that what might be deemed sloppy journalism. Smiling grievers, lack of explanation wherever it is expected, Masonic numbers and symbols, the actual truth or distorted version of it, etc. They are also meticulous in never faking a single piece of evidence so well that it can be used by someone who believes their story to be brandished as defence of it. See, they tell us clearly, for example. Links in description if you want to read that article. As a responsible citizen, it is our duty to call out the power elite when we can. Identify a very large number of anomalies in the story they down us in with. Additionally, not a single skerrick of evidence to support it. 1. Lack of clear evidence of the reality of a pandemic, but clear evidence of fakery. There is no clear evidence of the reality of a coronavirus pandemic. We are told of deaths and infections, but all we see are a lot of general population and medical staff running around in masks and other protective gear. A man lying on a hospital floor and a person, most unrealistically, falling flat on their face. There is nothing that favours real live exercise for a coronavirus pandemic, while there is much that favours live exercise. Assuming we include deliberate anomalies as part of the MO of a live exercise over real. I ask the reader to consider this very important question when there are clear anomalies in a story that undermine its reality. What reason is there to believe any part of it without clear evidence? Metro. Coronavirus crisis. Let's ramp up the fear. We'll do whatever it takes. Must act as wartime government. That means giving themselves extra powers and us less. 330 billion bailout for businesses, rates break for pubs and restaurants, 3-month mortgage holidays, support for renters on the way, death toll 71, maybe 55,000 infected. 71 doesn't even get it level with the 3 a day that die from road traffic accidents this year. We've had 3 months. That's not even close. That's not even 1 a day. And most of them had underlying problems anyway, were on death's door anyway, but they just added them in there. And as was said yesterday, they have actually not keeping records for the flu this year. They do every other year, but not this year. So I would suggest that they're using those that have got flu as this 55,000 infected bullshit. And also, while we're on this particular subject, 330 billion bailout for businesses. If these wankers have had 330 billion pounds just lying around, why have we just gone through 10 years of austerity? Just think on that for a bit. Daily fail. Rishi's 350 billion kiss of life. 3 months mortgage holiday if virus hits your job. Loans up to 5 million for struggling firms. PM, it's like wartime. We'll do whatever it takes. And if that means removing all your freedoms and locking you up and executing you, that's what we'll do. Because that's what it's going to take. Freedom for British mum jailed in Iran. So, 350 billion here. Again, I'm going to say, if these wankers have had over 350 billion pounds just lying around, why have we just had 10 years of austerity? Aye. How to make 10 meat-free meals for a family of 4 in 1 hour. Goodbye Euro 2020. Hello Euro 2021. Mother of disabled girl in plea for help. UK's 330 billion jobs rescue. Don't talk shit. But again, if they've had this amount of money just lying around, why have we just suffered 10 years of austerity? Why do we now have some of the worst roads in Europe while they've had this money just lying around? While we've all been suffering and they've been lapping it up, drinking their champagne and eating their caviar. Chancellor tears up rulebook in bid to save business and inject hope into economy. 3-month mortgage holiday for unprecedented low-cost loans worth 15% of GDP. No rates for pubs and restaurants for a year. Plus freelance IR35 tax reforms delayed. Mother's Day cancelled for over 70s by government chief scientific advisor. Now, I was speaking to somebody yesterday. He was 62 and he said that he'd had a call from the doctor's surgery and they said, you've got to self-isolate for 3 months. He said, do one. And I saw him in the pub. So that's the type of spirit we need. The sort of, screw you lot, I'm not doing anything you say because you're a bunch of useless, two-faced, conniving wankers. Attempt to keep schools open is under strain as heads react to shortage of teachers. French police mobilise to enforce unprecedented curbs on citizens' movements. This is a push for the New World Order. NHS postponed all non-urgent operations in England from 15th of April to free up beds. For the first time, Foreign Office advises public against travelling anywhere in the world. Yes, we're in lockdown, we're in jail, and that's been the plan all along. Jail for nothing, just because these bastards want to show you the sort of power they've got over us at the moment, because we let them do this. Express. Coronavirus will do whatever it takes to, says Chancellor. If that means that you've all got to die, then we're prepared to take that responsibility, he may have said. UK death toll hits 71. Pathetically low, I hasten to add, if it was a real pandemic. Don't go overseas. Non-urgent ops delayed. 330 billion war chest to keep Britain in business. Then why wasn't it used? Or why don't we just take 30 billion of that? We'll use the 300 for what they say. Take the 30 billion. End homelessness. End food banks. No, because that's not the plan. The plan is to keep you on the streets, get you on the streets if they can, and only being able to survive by going to food banks. That's the plan. It's been it all along, and it's coming for us all if we don't stand up and do something. The Guardian. The crisis is a reminder to take nothing for granted. Yeah, Euro 2020 cancelled. 350 billion promised to battle biggest peacetime threat. Well, you know, we've got people, men, women, children living on the streets, and you've had this money lying around, and you've not thought, oh, well, we could help them. Oh, no, of course, because you're a bunch of Zionist, evil, satanic bastards that's only here for one thing, and that's to try and depopulate us, and this is what one of your biggest pushes for the one world government. Manchester bomber found guilty. Chancellor spending vow met with criticism from neglect of low paid. Temporary release of Zagari Ratcliffe. Mirror. Arena bomber, yeah, bullshit. Pandemic fight back. This won't beat Britain. Bullshit. It's nothing. It's fake. It's a psyop. Routine ops to cancel to set up special virus hospitals. More fear. 330 billion to help businesses, families get mortgage holes. That's them trying to buy you off because we're going to try and say stay in your house and only go out for food and stuff like that. This is a way of trying to buy you off. But unions demand help for workers hit by shutdown. Waste of paper. And as a bulldog spirit, stick it up yours virus. Defiant Brits in lockdown vow will beat bug. And that's one of the most evil men ever on this planet. And it's in that shitty paper anyway. The Times, 350 billion launched to save Britain's economy. Well, what about those on the streets? You know, shouldn't we have done something about them by now, since it's been going on for over 10 years? No, that's never been the plan, has it? Wartime government planned. In other words, they're going to give themselves more powers and take our rights away at the same time. You mark my words. Virus package targets firms. Owners get mortgage breaks. Hospitals stop routine operations for months. Telegraph. Chancellor unveils his 350 billion virus lifeline. Why have we had men, women and children on the streets if they've had this money lying around, eh? Sunak warns of worst peacetime economic fight as he pledges loans and handouts to keep the country aloft. In other words, they're stealing it all and putting it in their offshore bank accounts. That's what's really happening to it. Nazarene temporary release from hellish jail. Keeping deaths beneath 20,000 would be seen as good outcome. Bullshit. The great fear is that economic loss ultimately leads to human loss. Rich and famous pay for private tests. Food retailers warn of riot if supplies dry up. Trump in China blame game row. FT. Sunak pledges 350 billion to global fight against coronavirus. Again, if they've had this money lying around, why have we just had 10 years of austerity? Chancellor aids business in cuts. 850 billion US boost sought. EU capital weigh in. Italy's experiment to test in one town cuts new infections to 000. Source. Scarce hospital beds should cloud US and British prospects. And finally, a little bit of fun. How do you wish to pay? Toilet paper, Visa, MasterCard. They have now decided they are going to test everyone for the virus. All you need to do is send a stool sample off to 10 Downing Street, Westminster, London, SW1A2AA. Please do it as soon as possible. Coronavirus feat Craig Davis. Had a sore throat on Monday. Took my temperature on Tuesday. I was coughing lots on Wednesday. Rang HNS Direct on Thursday and Friday and Saturday. Nearly died on Sunday. FIFA 21. Coronavirus toilet paper shortage alternatives. Number 3. Escalator handrail. F the coronavirus, we're meant to die from climate change. Family devastated when pet chews up life savings. After the quarantine. So far, more people in the US have died trying to testify against the Clintons than from the coronavirus.